Good morning to all my fellow Americans. Here once again, you see what's going on in the country.
Every time you touch a surface,
My name is Eduardo Rodriguez here from my office. Today, October the 28th, 2020. I want to send a salute to all veterans, especially those of the DAV, for which I am part of, Chapter 11, and veterans of all organizations, and never forget those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in order to keep our country free again from these leftist fiends from hell. State of Florida, don't forget to vote for Maria Rita Salazar for Congress. And let's see if we do something, Donald Trump, about the situation of Cuba. Freeze the accounts of these communists. The same communists are destroying Philadelphia, New York, California. And let's see if we pass it on to somebody who loves Cuba, really loves it. And freeze the accounts of the communists, just like we did with Venezuela. Talking about Venezuela, I got a video, but I'm going to post it on the Spanish blog that I have, which is called Cuba Noticia Disidente. It's one video about Venezuela to show you what Venezuela has turned into. The same thing that happened into Cuba, and the same thing that would happen here in the United States if we don't vote for Trump. It's going to happen the same thing. We're going to have extreme poverty, no pity for the poor. We're going to be enslaved. We're going to be threatened, murdered. We're going to die for.
The first of several social engagements over the next month. Afterward, we sat outside the tent and listened to some very fine singing from some of the privates, she writes. Their voices blended beautifully. Jubilo is one of the best things I've heard lately. While they may have sung like angels, the 54th came south to fight. In mid-July, their chance comes. Federal General Quincy Gilmore launches an expedition against Charleston. Because the war started there with the firing on Fort Sumter, Charleston has high symbolic value to both sides. The Confederates ring the harbor and its islands with strong forts. Chief among these is Fort Wagner on Morris Island. A mountain of sand bristling with large cannon, it looms as a challenge to the Federals. On July 16, 1863, Gilmore lands his army on Morris Island to assault Fort Wagner.
They're known as Marty's Miracles, dogs sentenced to death, brought back to health with the methods of Dr.
The 54th is part of a diversionary attack on adjacent to James Island. Their attack is intended to divert Confederate attention from Gilmore. But the rebels launch a surprise counterattack on James Island. It threatens to trap an entire white regiment, the 10th Connecticut. 3 companies of the 54th fight hard to slow the Confederate assault. It allows the Connecticut men to retreat to safety. The 54th loses 10 men killed and 30 wounded, including Quartermaster Sergeant Volkensee. But the regiment has won its first laurels. First Sergeant Robert Simmons of Company B is cited for gallantry. He writes his mother the next day, "We fought a desperate battle. God has protected me through this, my first fiery leaden trial, and I do give him the glory and render praises unto his holy name." The Swamp Angels earned their nickname, marching all night and the next day across marshy James Island to reach Gilmore's army in front of Fort Wagner. Simmons closes his letter, "God bless you all. Goodbye. Likely we shall be engaged soon." The 54th volunteers to spearhead an attack against Fort Wagner by 12 white federal regiments. As night descends on July 18, 1863, a massive naval bombardment of the fort ends, and the troops advance. Confederate cannon from Wagner and the entire harbor decimate the ranks. The assault force suffers 1,515 casualties, with the 54th losing 247 of 600 who charge. Last to leave the parapet of the fort under fire is the lion of the regiment, Sergeant Major Lewis Douglas, son of Frederick Douglass. Lewis writes his fiancée, Amelia Logan of Syracuse, New York, "DeForest of your city is wounded. George Washington is missing. Jacob Carter is missing. Charles Reason, wounded. Charles Whiting, Charles Creamer, all wounded. I had my sword sheath blown away while on the parapet of the fort," he writes. "Swept down like chaff, still our men went on and on. This regiment has established its reputation as a fighting regiment. Not a man flinched, though it was a trying time. Men fell all around me. A shell would explode, clear a space of 20 feet. Our men could close up again, but it was no use. We had to retreat, which was a very hazardous undertaking. How I got out of that fight alive, I cannot tell. But I am here." Lewis scales the deadly slope with Colonel Shaw, and in the thunderous voice of his father shouts, "Come, boys, come. Let's fight for God and Governor Andrew." Shaw dies on the parapet.
Well, here once
Sergeant
again,
William Carter
let
of
me
Company
just
C
shut this
holds
down.
a flag aloft atop the fort.
Watching a part of a movie of Glory. Not a movie, really, a documentary about the 54th. Here once again, the web stream just froze on me, so there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know how to edit. And so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. What you're seeing is live, and send it the way it is. So let me go to the next video with Ben Shapiro, so he could talk and add a little bit more about the riot in Philadelphia. You know, I asked a question: what the hell is looting and destroying businesses, destroying your cities, has to do with what happened in Philadelphia? Plus, the guy who had a knife, the African-American guy who had a knife, was threatening the lives of the policemen. We saw it in video. I mean, you got to be blind not to see what's happening. And still, no, they should have shot him in the leg. No, they should have let him live. No, they should have let him stab the two cops, and the hell with the cops and the family and the widows and the orphans, and praise the ideas of these murderers and looters of Philadelphia and burning and robbing and TVs and 3 or 4 TVs at the same time. And you know, I'm telling you, it's terrible. We're going to a state. We're going to a point where these people have to be dealt with severely, period. And those who burn down, hey, pay the price. Pay the price. Why aren't they arrested and put in prison? I can't understand this. Let me go to Ben Shapiro before I take all the time in this. Anyway, I'm still going to do all the videos. I don't care how many times it freezes on me because I'm pissed off. Every time I'm doing these videos and it freezes on me. So the hell with it, I'm still going to do it. Oh, another thing, YouTube. YouTube doesn't want to, I was going to put on another video which was more dramatic, and it showed a lot of worse to what the riot was all about. And no, they censored it because it didn't go according to their community standards, according to their communist and extreme leftist ideas. So they had to how you call it, censor the truth. I hope YouTube pays the price too, and Facebook, and all these Twitter, Googles. I hope Trump wins again, and I hope he puts I think he already signed in or something, or there's an order to be signed in, where these people are going to be responsible for what their actions and liable to be sued. So I hope it does happen. Here, I leave you with Ben Shapiro.
So again, the argument from the left is everything is justified because Trump is bad and Republicans are bad, and so everything is justified. And this extends to the realm of rioting. It does. And apparently the only way to stop all of this is, of course, to concede to the left. Right? It's a beautiful circular logic here. Republicans caused us to do bad things. The only way to stop us from doing bad things is to elect us to do bad things. But that can only be stopped if you elect us.
It's terrible here.
And then we do bad things because Republicans do bad things. So the circle goes. Okay, so overnight, there were multiple reports in Philadelphia that 30 police officers had been injured in riots following a fatal police shooting. Police responded to a domestic call just before 4 p.m. on Monday.
Oh, another thing, YouTube doesn't let me amplify the video.
Wallace was armed with a knife and refused calls to drop the weapon.
They don't like people to know what's happening.
Multiple times. Videos show the officer shooting this person multiple times. Wallace was pronounced dead at the scene. A statement released from the mayor and police commissioner said the shooting was under investigation. It does not indicate whether it was confirmed that Wallace was armed. Apparently he was. Mayor Jim Kenney said, "I've watched the video of this tragic incident. It presents difficult questions that must be answered. I recognize the video of the incident raises many questions," says Police Commissioner Daniel Outlaw. No, it doesn't. It raises 0 questions. You can see the video. The person at issue is holding a knife. He refuses to put it down. He approaches the police officers. When he is about 10 feet away, refusing to put down the knife, they shoot him. Because you know what you don't have to do when you are an officer with a gun? Wait for the person to come 6 inches from you and then stab you in the frickin' face. That's a thing you don't have to do as a police officer. In fact, you know what the advantage of a gun is? For those who need this little lecture. You know what an advantage of a gun is? You can shoot people from far away. You know what negates the advantage of a gun? When the person's right next to you, you stupid asses. I don't so the people, what were they supposed to do? Throw their gun at him? The guy was approaching them with a knife. We have now reached the point where the shooting doesn't even have to be remotely unjustifiable to justify rioting in our streets because America is so obscenely racist, apparently. Apparently a police sergeant was run over by a truck. So you got a lot of delightful people engaging in this sort of violence. All I can hope is that rural Pennsylvania shows up in droves to elect Donald Trump to prevent this sort of stuff from being okayed by city authorities. According to the police department, at least 12 Philly police officers were hospitalized with various injuries. One of them was a 56-year-old female sergeant. She was a 56-year-old female sergeant. Okay, where's the Defend All Women crowd? 56-year-old female sergeant hit by a black pickup truck in stable condition with a broken leg. Other officers were injured and bricks were thrown at them. But they're just bricks. No big deal. They're just bricks. Who cares? Just bricks. But you know what? If you hate all this, if you hate wokeness, if you hate the woke left and the radical left, the only way to stop all of this, is to vote for Joe Biden. See how this works? Because the right has driven the left so crazy that now the only way to stop the left from being crazy is to elect the left to power. The only way to stop the wokeness is to not elect Donald Trump, is to elect Joe Biden, who is enthralled to the radical left. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and share it with all of your friends.
I'm gonna give my opinion about this. Talking about races, I'm gonna put a video here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let's see if it's in the other area. Okay, let me go to. Last video exposing. Okay, I got it. This is the last one I'm going to show here. You know what's funny about all this? If the communists, God forbid, ever win power in this country, they're going to do like they've done in Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, the ex-Soviet Union, and still happening in China, even though there's free marketing now, because they woke up, the communists in China suddenly woke up and found out that communism doesn't work economically, but they still have the oppression, brutal oppression. Once they're in power, like I was going to say, they're going to start violating your rights. Oh, I would, if it wasn't because communism is so terrible, I would love just to see momentarily, like in a dream, see how they, Black Lives Matter and Antifa would react when the cops would come in and start beating and killing and breaking heads and with their nightsticks and shooting and killing all these rioters, which were supposed to be done because they're threatening lives. I would like to see them protest. And then it would even get worse, because then the communist government would send in, well, not government, because it would be, well, it depends. It depends how stupid we are and we elect them. Then they would send in their troops of police. Oh, and I tell you, it would be bloody. It would be bloody. And those in the losing part would be the rioters. No rights to protest, no rights to express their feeling against the government because of what happened or whatever. That's what the communists are going to do. Once they get power, oh, you can forget about all those rights. Then you can't mention Constitution because they'll break your head open. They're going to eliminate that. They're going to eliminate your guns. Oh, and then they're going to level you to an extreme of poverty beyond your dreams, beyond your most nightmarish dreams that you ever had. That's the way it's going to be. Look and see the videos that are coming out of Cuba that I post in the Spanish blog of Cuba Noticias Disidentes. And you can see people living in such conditions, such deplorable conditions, that if the inspector went into the apartments, they would just close it down. No, close that down. Nobody can pass through here. This is unfit for human life. You see people living in condition where you see roaches roaming all around and on top of the people. If you freak out with bugs, go watch some of these videos. Especially roaches, the most disgusting thing. Come out of latrines, come out of toilets, or other kinds of insects like centipedes or snakes. Stop, don't be, you better wake up. You better wake up, because once you get it, hey, there's no backing up. Your worst nightmare, your dream is going to come true, and believe me, you're going to regret it when it's too late. Unfortunately, and hope not it doesn't happen, those who know what's happening and know who knows that there's a solution to fix America up is Donald Trump. I'm going to pay the price of the left is voting for communism. So I'm going to leave you with this last video. God bless you all. God bless you, Donald Trump. I always pray for you and your family. The same with Mike Pence and his family. I always say to God, God bless our country eternally. And I stand with God and Israel eternally. So I'll see you guys tomorrow if God permits. And bye-bye. Talking about racism, watch this video from Next News Network.
The Biden campaign has a new ad out. Some are calling it the most false ad in history. It targets black women. That's unacceptable. We're going to show it to you in a moment. And of course, I want to get your thoughts in the comments. But if you are new here, go ahead and tap the red button down below to subscribe, then hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when the latest news breaks. Jim Hoffer, the Gateway Pundit, reports that the floundering Joe Biden campaign has released a completely dishonest ad. They did so on Sunday. It targets black women. In the ad, the Biden campaign claims President Trump called black women as a group such names as low IQ, unhinged, and crazy. Of course, it's completely false. President Trump has attacked individual black women just like he's attacked individual white women, white men, and others. Watch.
This president has a lot to say about black women. He's called us low IQ, unhinged, and crazy. Compared us to a dog, told us to go back to where we came from, and that some of us come from whole countries. What he fails to realize is that we're fierce, organized, unstoppable, not to be played with, and we are extremely motivated and ready to vote him out.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Of course, he approved this message. The ad is completely dishonest. It also shows the desperation of the Biden campaign at this point. Rather awful people. So the question is being asked, is Twitter going to block this ad like they blocked President Trump's? Let's go back through this one more time.
This president has a lot to say about black women. He's called us low IQ,
No, he called Maxine Waters low IQ.
unhinged, and crazy.
I'm sure he's probably talking about Maxine Waters and all of those, right?
Compared us to a dog, told us to go back to where we came from,
I believe he was talking about members of the squad.
and that some of us come from whole countries. What he fails to realize.
Okay, so basically they're just taking these little sound bites of the president when he's specifically speaking about individuals and those people and their policies and the things they say. He's talking about those people, but they've taken this all out of context and tried to do a broad brush over the entire female black community. Completely dishonest. Absolutely dishonest. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary.